And I think that some of the artists that I've seen you going back and forth with, and I only can say this because I've had this a similar experience,
Yeah.
years before, going back and forth and disagreeing with artists over whether it was over who was the best or who was the hottest, who was the biggest. And I think that some of these terms get misconstrued. I think that for me, the term hottest is something that's completely separate from the term best.
Yes.
You can be the best rapper and nobody can be paying no attention to you, and you're not the hottest rapper. And then you can be the hottest rapper and maybe you don't rap as good as like 10 or 15 other people, but nobody listening to those 10 or other 15 other people as much as they listening to you. And then sometimes you have like a hybrid of that where this person is being listened to by a lot of people and this person raps and creates music exceptionally well. But those two things aren't necessarily always connected with each other.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that you've done a really good job at is not caring about whether somebody thinks that you're the best rapper or somebody thinks you're the most lyrical rapper. I applaud your song making effort. You make good songs, and you are a good rapper. You're not a bad rapper, but you put more of an emphasis on creating a song than you put on having the most impressive verse. And that's the thing that for some artists who rap really good, it takes them 10 years to figure that out, 15 years to figure that out. Like, you want people to know these words too. You want people to know the lyrics too. You want this to be something that can catch into people's head, and that the 5 metaphors that you just gave to niggas, they don't understand none of the metaphors, so it's gonna take them forever to remember these lines. And so I think that you've done a really good job of that on the artistry level. But then on a business and marketing level, you've done a really good job of making sure that your name is out there regularly, your face is out there regularly. You do lives regularly. And you communicate and you speak about whether it's your music or something that you got coming up, or even if it's just your opinion on something right now. You make sure that if you get on social media in this area, you can't get away from Kidd Griffey, which I think is, again, that's something that's also separate from the artistry, because it's somebody who can be the hottest rapper and their music is really big and people listen to their music a lot, but they forget them when they get on social media. They don't see them on their apps. They don't see them on these algorithms. And so you've done a good job of also mastering being on the algorithms and being on the apps and people not being able to get away from you. And so I think that one of the things that comes with that is that people got to get a chance to criticize you more. The more somebody sees you, the more somebody sees you doing certain things, the more that they can pick out the things that you're doing that they think you're not as good at, or they think that are your flaws, or the things that they would do differently if they were, in your position, or if the, shoes were switched, And so I think that that's one of the things that's happened as well. And again, I think that that's also in conjunction with other artists who are, traveling doing it in a different way or taking different paths, who are just as passionate as you about their craft, and just as passionate about you, just as passionate as you about the things that they're making. And as y'all have y'all back and forth for y'all differences or y'all discussions or arguments or whatever the term anybody might use for it, to me, that's the thing that comes across the most, is that these brothers is passionate about this. These brothers care about this. And if the passion that they're exhibiting and the care that they're exhibiting, if they can carry this on for longevity, it lifts the culture up collectively. As when y'all was having, when these different back and forths happen, one of the things that always goes on is that other people start to chime in on what their opinion is, and they might chime in and have nothing to say about any of the people who was in the original back and forth. They bringing up 5 new artists, or they bringing up 10 new artists. And to me, what happens is that the culture just gets elevated. Each time this happens, somebody goes and listens to your music who hadn't heard your music before. Somebody goes and listens to the music of somebody you going back and forth with and they had never heard their music before. Somebody puts up a list or named other artists, or go in a comment and say this person is good, or this person is better than both of y'all, or whatever. And then the music scene and the culture gets lifted a little bit, and more people and it spreads out to more people. So and again, some of the things it's a thin line with this, because we do live in a certain culture, we do live in a certain city, and I never want anything that is rooted in music to turn into something that's personal, or to turn into something that becomes physical, because to me that's a regression of what we need from the culture, and I've seen that manifest with artists when I was younger, where the back and forth that was on social media turns into something that is in real life, and it was rooted in something that didn't need to be that serious. And I don't think none of the things that I've seen from you, or none of the back and forths I've seen you in, seem to be going into that route or anything like that.
It won't. It won't, because as a grown man,
Feel my wrath. cover my back. Gang wars, grudge match, last shower.
Hey, look, first thing I do when I wake up, I'm brushing my teeth to go get me some money, so I ain't got time to just lay up. Gotta get me some paper and then I get horny. Late night shit gotta stay up.